Hey, what's going on? I'm Brandon Bain. Welcome to another episode of Rubbin' and Grubbin' live from Coach's Corner every Wednesday night. Dan had some prior obligations. Got a good buddy of mine, PJ Zucco, gonna sit in. You can catch PJ, myself, and Dan. We're gonna put this up right here. Oh, you wanna put it behind me? Boom.
Oh,
All right.
that's perfect.
PJ's in the house. Like I said, every Sunday, green, white, checkered, 9 o'clock, ESPN 104.3, 1400 AM. Check it out if you haven't yet. Really good show. Just want to say, like us, share us, follow us, Facebook, Twitter. Watch us live, coaches, feed, ESPN's feed. Just follow me and share it out there. Let's get some more likes, man. So, some NASCAR news. We got Austin Dillon still waiting. 2 negative tests for COVID in a 24-hour period before he can race at Dover. So, hopefully he gets that done, man, gets back in that 3. No, I'm ready to see him back in there, man, for sure. Speaking of Dover, man, what about 43 of Bubba Wallace, man?
Yeah. How about that? I mean, Bubba Wallace doing a great job marketing himself, getting some sponsorship dollars from Columbia and from PFG Sportswear. The paint scheme looks incredible this week, just like it did last week with DoorDash hopping on board as well.
Yeah, man.
And what's interesting about these sponsorships is they are mostly for Bubba Wallace and not necessarily signed with RPM.
Right.
So Bubba Wallace still looking for a ride for next year. Hasn't nailed down where he's going yet. So still a free agent out there. He has that job offer on the table from Chip Ganassi Racing.
Yeah.
Too, so he's still out there talking about it.
I think that's going to be a great fit for him, man. I honestly do. It's kind of I hate to say it this way, but kind of a step up equipment-wise. Good to see Richard Petty with him in the car this year, at least being a little more competitive. Has had quite a few good runs, some bad luck, but really good runs there. And I think he's got talent enough to move up and get in that 42 and maybe be on a little bit more of an equal playing field, man, to everybody else. Get to expose that talent, man. So good thing for Bubba, man. Speaking of the paint schemes, man, favorite one coming up at Darlington.
Oh, it has up until last night. It was that Junior Johnson car that Austin Dillon is going to be running. That kind of cream white color and some black and red and blue stripes on it as well. A classic number font also from Junior Johnson. But up until last night, that was my favorite one. Of course, I know we're going to talk about it here in a minute too, but last night, Jimmy Johnson and today coming out with his throwback. And I was listening to the Dale Jr. download on the way here, and he talked to Johnson, he talked to Richard Petty, he talked to Richard Childress about it. And one of the things Junior said that I love as well is the fact that this is his last year, right? And he's a 7-time champion. He could have gone out there and raced his own paint scheme, one of his own classic cars that he won a championship with. But to look at himself and say, all right, I'm one of 3 guys to win 7 championships.
Yeah.
I want to tie those 2 guys in to what I'm doing this year is so selfless to me, and it's full of class also. So hat tip to him. But yeah, he's going to be running a car with the blue and red, the Petty blue and red of Richard Petty on the top, with actually the number font too on the top of his car, and then on the sides he's going to have that black and silver GM Goodrich colors from Dale Earnhardt's latter 10, 11 years that he raced, and honor him on the side. And the font for that number 2 is actually the font of the 3.
Right.
So
yeah, that's going to be pretty cool.
So I thought that was awesome. And to be honest with you, 7 championships. Other than that 1 year at Talladega, I think it was 2006, where all the DEI cars ran that black Dale Earnhardt scheme.
Right.
I don't think there's anyone else other than Dale Jr., who's obviously not racing anymore, and Jimmy Johnson, who could pull that off, and people would respect it.
Yeah,
I
mean, agree.
We haven't seen anybody else do it.
Greatly agree, man. It's kind of like I feel certain ways. It's almost like jerseys, is like paint schemes. The number's going to carry on. That's just the part of the sport. But it's like the jersey with the paint schemes, man. Like you can't run the Earnhardt paint scheme. To me, you can't run that Rainbow Warrior paint scheme. You know what I mean? Like that's just where I sit. Some of these are just like they're legend. You can't touch them. But Yeah, I mean, it's going to be really neat. And if you guys hadn't seen any of them yet, I know you can go to NASCAR.com. They have them on there. You can scroll through and check out, I think, pretty much almost everybody's paint scheme for the weekend. So, definitely cool, man. And like you said, dude, 3 7-time champions right there, all on one car.
Yeah.
One guy. The one thing I will say, one of them did 5 in a row, man.
Yeah.
Which, they
So
each
true.
had their one. One had a lot of wins. One had the wins in the championship, and then you got a guy here in Jimmy, a lot of wins, championship, and 5 in a row, man.
Absolutely incredible.
It's
talk about
probably never going to be done, man. Again, you say that, and then records are made to be broken,
course,
but man, that's a tough one, dude.
You got to think too. I mean, the Cup Series has only been around for 50, 60 years. That is a third of the Cup Series championships on one car.
Right.
That's awesome.
Right. That's amazing, man. So, yeah, three races left for the playoff, man. Bubble's getting real tight down there. That 16 spot's becoming a lot harder to reach for some guys and a lot easier for others. So, you got to look at it. 48 had a pretty good run there on that road course this weekend. Not a bad run. And then for William Byron to have a decent run, and even though he got outran, that margin pretty much stayed the same. I mean, it's really got to be a test of will. So, Dover again, a place I think Jimmy said since the sex head. So you can't count him out there ever. And I mean, it's coming in, and if he can put 2 good runs here together and catch William Byron in 1 bad run, that bubble's definitely going to get a lot smaller. And for some other guys, man, it's crazy out there, man.
Yeah, and with NASCAR, it's so hard to pick up points on someone that you're fighting against unless they wreck or unless they blow an engine or have a mechanical failure, especially when you're right there next to them. Because, I mean, you're right there in points next to each other because you run pretty equally most of the time. And like you said, on the road course, Jimmy Johnson had a great run, finished in the top 5, but William Byron finishes in the top 10, so you don't make a lot of ground up on him. Also, he's your teammate, so you want to see him run well. You're probably sharing information between each other on the track, and this is a place where Jimmy Johnson, I believe he's won there 11 times over the course of his career. This is the last track he won at a few years ago, but I know he loves the fact that they're going there twice this weekend. He has 2 shots to win it, 2 shots to get that car right. And I think he'll be, to be honest with you, I think he'll be in contention for it. But this is a track that 2 of his teammates are really good too. Chase Elliott, who of course is already locked in.
Right.
But that's a potential of someone taking a win away from you. And William Byron, the guy he's fighting neck and neck with, is very good at Dover as well.
Yeah, it's amazing, man. How some tracks just fit guys' personalities. I mean, Monster Mile, you know what I mean? Cool trophy, Miles a Monster. Concrete track, high speed, 1 mile, rubber's up different. It tends to wash cars down back into traffic. I mean, this is just an amazing racetrack. It's one of my favorites, man. But I mean, just like I said, that bubble is getting so tight, and Jimmy is really good. The one thing that I hate to say is we just haven't seen the consistency.
Right.
We've seen him have really, really, really strong runs all season, and here he is, leading laps at. I don't even remember where it was. Darlington runs into the back of Ricky Stenhouse. I mean, what kind of shit is that? I mean, honestly, dude, that's like.
That's about the only.
You're a 7-time champion, right? Yeah. It's just either it's luck, whether it's mechanical or whether it's having really good equipment, and not getting those finishes. And I think that's why he is where he is on the bubble. Below that bubble. Had he got those finishes of the Jimmy Johnson we know, and that, same thing I've seen with Jeff Gordon at times later in his career. Just you kind of lose that consistency, and is it you're losing your edge, or is it more of just everything's getting better around you and everybody's catching up because of things you've done, And I think there's a lot of reward. There's probably a lot of jealousy in a way, and envy in a way, I would think, just for the simple fact of you can do it. You're that good of a race car driver. You can go, you can do it, you can win. I'm 7-time champion. I'm having trouble finishing races, and that's something to be said. But so on another note, next generation car. I saw a couple pictures of it on online this week, and it's pretty a little different than what it looks like now, man. It's gonna be a wild shoot, but they got Cole Custer, I guess, testing out at Dover this week. So we'll see what his feedback is on it from a younger driver, and I'm sure they'll use that data and keep going, man. So speaking of Tony Stewart, coming up, the Racing League, he's opening up with Ray Evernham and those guys. We were talking before the show. You told me some really cool stuff. another guy joining, Helio Castroneves, man. So
Right.
adding to that list, and you were telling me about Ray Evernham changing a little bit of the look of the car.
Yeah, exactly. And released some pictures of the car. I believe it was last week or the week before of the car they're going to be using, and it was really cool. It had that front grille with an X on it, I believe, and had a couple different features. A couple of those being a big spoiler, real big spoiler,
Right.
and it did have a splitter on the front, which if you've watched NASCAR over the past 10 years, you've learned about splitters on the front of cars, and you also have learned how much it frustrates some drivers and how much damage a car can get if
Right.
it runs through the grass with
Right.
that splitter.
Ruin the day
Yeah,
quick.
really cool that he put pictures of the car and unveiled it up on Twitter. And within 24 hours, fans were talking about, well, listen, we don't like the splitter, get rid of it.
Yeah.
Ray Evernham, within 24 hours, comes back with a different model of the car without the big front splitter on it. So just knowing that the higher ups and the leaders of that series are not only doing what they want to do and what sponsors want to do, but also listening to the fans and reacting so quickly to what the fans want. Now, you can't listen to every single fan.
Right. Right. We'd be racing 6-wheel cars out there,
Exactly,
jumping hills and
It
stuff.
would
So
be
yeah,
insane.
yeah.
But to know that they're responding that well and willing to change some things up for the sake of the fan and for the sake of entertainment, I think is great to see.
Yeah, me too. And
Castroneves, too, you talk about Brickyard 400 winner,
yeah,
a champion in that
yeah,
series,
man.
and joining.
I mean, these are big names,
Yeah,
dude. I
Stewart,
mean,
Labonte, Kanan,
yeah,
Paul Tracy. I mean, this is going to be a fun series to watch.
yeah, dude. I think that series is gonna draw a lot of attention. I really do. I think a lot of guys that are, the local dirt track guys are gonna be tuned into that. Probably former racing maybe a little bit more than some of the stuff that NASCAR do. I think it will. It's kind of like having two wrestlings on at once, or you don't see two NFLs, you don't see, you know what I mean? It's like,
for sure.
hey, we'll see. It's all about how it responds. XFL, NFL. It's going to be a totally different style of racing. I think that's what's great about race fans is as a race fan, you're going to be able to say, okay, this is my NASCAR, and this is my stuff for here, and it's going to be two totally different types of racing, and you can respect that as a race fan.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter if it's on dirt. It doesn't matter if it's on track. Like, it doesn't matter if we got three wheels. It doesn't matter. We like to see a race, So
I think that's the great thing about racing fans is, you have it with football where you have the different series and whatnot. But, there's some NFL guys that can't stand college football or can't stand the
college
XFL
fans that aren't in NFL.
I mean, you have that with soccer and things like that too. But normally with racing fans, you watch NASCAR, and that's great. Supporting NASCAR is fantastic. But you like the open wheel stuff. You like going Friday, Saturday nights to your local dirt track and watching that as well. Just taking in everything, just because, hey, we like seeing guys get out there and getting after it. Rubbin's racing,
man.
And doing that. But it doesn't matter what kind of competition you're looking at. You just want to see a race.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
I mean, just wanting to see that race, man. So, on another bright note, I saw where they're starting to sell 2021 Daytona 500 tickets to fans. So that's another great deal.
Fantastic.
Personally, we'll be checking in on Atlanta very, very soon.
No doubt.
I will be there either way. Doesn't matter if they're racing and fans are going to be there. I'll be there. So. Well, let's get on to this Daytona race, PJ, man. I mean, had a good ARCA race there. Turned around Saturday. I mean, that Xfinity race, man, was a very, very exciting race in the fact for a fan of just cautions. And it kind of set the tone for what you really thought you were going to see on Sunday.
True.
You looked at that, and I mean, different pit strategy and just. I mean, it seemed like there for a while at the end of the race, it was just caution, and guys missing turns. And, it's amazing what Saturday does. And you watch, Austin Cindric, this guy that's just absolutely killing it, and just has such a great run right there going. I don't know what else to say, man. I mean, I think it's going to be amazing. Like I said, Cup race, you turn around Sunday, you don't have, 1-2 cautions, I think, the whole race, 2-3 cautions the whole race.
Right.
Compared to, I don't know what it was Saturday, an astronomical number. And, I mean, the racing was good. I thought it was really good, man.
Yeah, I thought it was fantastic. And you talk about that, the glaring highlight of that Xfinity race that I keep seeing replay in my head is that one caution where they come in and restart, and you have the nightmare of turn one, where I think 8 guys miss the corner, and then you go into turn 3, and you have 2 different wrecks in that corner. So I was like, man, this is going to be crazy. But, one thing they said during the Sunday broadcast, which I thought about, and this kind of surprised me. This isn't a consistent thing that you can bet on, I guess, but on Saturday, it seems like when you go to road courses, we see a lot of road course Xfinity races in the rain.
Right.
You do, and to me, that kind of gets me excited for Sunday. And then Sunday, it's sunny, high of 85 or something like that. And
totally different ball game, right?
So Xfinity did have to deal with that a little bit more. But for road course racing, man, I thought that was a great track. I thought Denny Hamlin said it even after the race. There's 5+ passing opportunity parts of the track that you can get into, and really you have a chance of making the pass you need to. Whereas some other road courses, you only get 1 or 2 of great passing opportunities.
You burn a lap, almost a whole lap to wait for that right turn, especially Sonoma. I mean, it's so long, and Watkins Glen, same thing. There's a few there, a little bit higher speed road course, and that's what I'm kind of liking about the Robles, man. I mean, honestly, like between Charlotte and between Daytona, I think both of them are great. You still get a little bit of that, high-speed bank. And then you watch these guys, I mean, carry a lot of speed. I think Elliott ran one of the best laps of the day. I don't know if it ended up being the best or not, but it was like a 157.8. He broke the 158 mark. And it's like, dude, that's, I'm right. You're getting it, man. And then just to watch him pull away from that field, I mean, I'm an Elliott fan. That was amazing. But, yeah, man. So, I mean, Truex, again, another good road course racer, in there. Hamlin, good road course racer. I mean, I love that we were talking about it. I love the road courses for the simple fact that this gives that small guy, that small team, an opportunity to really showcase their talent behind the wheel. McDowell was up there for a long time. Bubba Wallace had a really good run going. I mean, all these smaller teams and names that you don't see up there legitly raced their way up there. Exactly. You know what I mean? And had really good race cars. And it's just good to see. That's what I like about road course racing. I think with the number that we just opened up now between Daytona, the Roval, Watkins Glen, when we're back able to go there, because I love Watkins Glen personally, and Sonoma, you have 4. That's pretty much a ninth of all the schedule. I mean, let's keep it right around that. I think that's really cool. Now, if we speak in missing dates and stuff like this happens again, which I hope it won't, maybe open up a couple more. I'd be down with that. But normal schedule, I think, keeping it, especially 2 of them being Rovals with Daytona and Charlotte, then 2 actual true road courses. I think that's cool, man.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with that. I'm always been someone that has loved the road courses. As you said, I don't think it should be every weekend or half the weekends. But, I mean, let's be completely honest. I think one of the reasons we love watching NASCAR is them being able to get after it, of course, but also them drivers that are very good at a lot of different styles of racing.
Right.
I mean, you have plate races, you have your cookie cutter 1.5 miles, short tracks, road courses, and everything like that. And just being completely honest here, if they took away 1.5 miles or 2.5 miles tracks, or maybe took it from 2 dates to 1 date for those to get 1 or 2 more road courses in there, I wouldn't mind one bit.
Right.
Because I think, it just gives you even more respect and credibility of a driver. And to me, I'm even more impressed when you not only can go out and get it done on 1 or 2 styles of tracks, but like Chase Elliott, like Ryan Blaney, like Martin Truex, you can go to a road course too and not miss a beat.
Right.
So I'm right there with you. I think they're right in the sweet spot of maybe 3 to 5 road course races I'd like to see
on
here,
a schedule.
Just to mix it up a little bit. And there's some great road courses as well that I think they could go to instead of maybe going to 1 or 2 tracks 2 times, and go there once, give it its due, give it its respect as a certain tracks that have been in NASCAR for a long, long time, but get something else in the mix and something new and fresh for not only the fans but the drivers too.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, and another thing to be said, there's a lot of tracks out there that Xfinity does that NASCAR doesn't, and that's what I was very interested and neat to see how this year we got to see a couple different tracks. you got to see this new Daytona road course because
Yeah.
we weren't able to go to Watkins Glen, and just the way we're running double headers and we're racing on Wednesdays and we're trying these new things. I think it's great. I think that's how you progress as a sport. I think that's how your culture of the sport progresses as well. And like, hey, we're really getting into this. They're making some good moves. I mean, this isn't just turning left all the time. This is some actual driving, which it is actual driving. But yeah, I'm a fan of the road course, but at the same time, like I said, I love my history of NASCAR and the historic tracks. Obviously, we got to keep, a couple of them. Charlotte, to me, has been well overdue to lose one of those. I mean, between everything they do, and I know it's the hub of the sport, it's the center of the sport, but I mean, there's a couple other places I'd like to go 3 times before we go there 3 times. So,
Right, exactly.
But yeah, man. So on to the good, the bad, and the ugly, man. So you had Kaz Gralla subbing in for Austin Dillon this week, man, and we were talking before the show again about that, and that kid came out, no seat time, no sim practice, got in that car and drove the wheels off of that car, man. So good for him. Big round of applause for old Kaz, man. Love that. Bad, unfortunately, Bubba Wallace, man, got taken out. Hate it for him, man. Did not like it at all. Ended up finishing 25th. There again, a little bit of bad luck on his side.
Yeah.
And I think as time goes on, he's becoming more mature and comfortable behind that wheel, pushing a little bit with some of these names. Also think their equipment's getting better.
Right.
So there again, man, glad to see him having some good runs. Unfortunately, it was bad luck this time. Hopefully the next one won't be for you, man.
Exactly.
The ugly is one of my favorite. We were actually texting a little bit about this during the race.
Yeah.
Kyle Busch, the man, the myth, the legend right there. Anyways, had some bad luck, part failure, mechanical, nothing that he did. Blows a rotor coming in, having a really good run there again.
Yeah.
Another really good road course
He was
racer.
in second or third.
Yeah, second or third, coming into pit. Blew the rotor off. Said it was done. Oh, let's go to the garage, change it just to save that 1 point. Turns out, comes back out, blows 2 rear tires, hits the wall. At the end of the day, man, a rotor or a race car for 1 point.
Yeah.
And I mean, if that's what kind of season Kyle Busch is having right now, he's in some trouble, man.
Yeah.
Like this is the guy that I might toy around with and talk about, but let me tell you, I respect him as a driver.
For sure.
He's got the most talent out there right now as we speak.
True.
Now, I also read an interview, pretty sure it was on NASCAR.com, about him speaking out about how, having his son and starting to raise his children, you know what I mean, really has kind of changed him as that person from that Kyle Busch that we knew that's like, hey, and I get it, the competitor, want to win. If I'm not first, I'm dead last. Ricky Bobby syndrome. You know what I mean?
You saw that from his brother. Too,
right, man. You saw that at a young age, and it took a little while for the maturity to come in. And Kyle, I think, is actually maturing a little quicker than Kurt did.
Yeah.
And it's really nice to see because I like to see the guy that has that much talent. I love the self-confidence. I'm not dissing him one bit on all that. But statistics don't lie. And right now, 26% of the time, 29th or worse, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's mind-boggling for a guy that won a championship last year, and then turn around. And now here we are, and he's got 1 stage win, 13th in points. Is he safe? I think he's safe on that bubble unless, let's say, these 2 Dover races, let's say a William Byron gets a win, and let's say a Jimmy Johnson gets a win. Now we're up to 2 more people.
Yeah.
Now you're right. Now you're down there.
Yeah.
Now you know what I mean. Now depending on where that next person is that's on that bubble, but man, you have mechanical failures once or twice this weekend. You have 1 bad race this weekend. That's really going to hurt them.
Right.
Depending on who runs good, but that can hurt them, man.
It can really.
Always a threat. Never counting them out. Always a threat. But
you got the cutoff race at Daytona too.
Yeah.
And anyone can win that thing. I mean that can be a total crapshoot.
Yeah.
Now it could be one of the more boring Daytona races, but being a cutoff race and that championship style race, I don't think it's going to be boring at all. I think it's going to be wild the whole time. So, at first with this whole thing with Kyle Busch not winning a race early, and then we came back from the pandemic break, and he was struggling, I think, mainly with the not having practice and not having qualifying. I kind of looked at it as, like you said, I respect him as a driver. I think talent level, just purely talent, he probably is the best driver out there right now.
Right.
But I kind of looked at that as, get over it, man. Suck it up, figure out a way to win, and go and do it. But talk about the past 10 races with all the mechanical troubles, the wrecks, and not necessarily his fault. I'm starting to kind of feel bad for the guy.
Yeah,
You know,
I mean, yeah.
it's weird because we talked about it the first time I was on the show with you guys. He's a guy I love to hate.
Right, yeah,
I
yeah.
love to see him struggle a
Yeah.
little bit, but just because of the attitude and whatnot. But now it's like, man, it's going to
Yeah.
be good to see him have a good run
Yeah,
and
no, I
actually
mean,
finish it off at some point.
I mean, he's a little older in age. He's starting to get up there. He's starting to mature. He's 34, 35 years old. I mean, for as long as he's been doing it, you think about it. He started doing this, I think Truck Series was what, 16?
Yeah.
16?
17, yep.
Yeah, I mean, it was very, very early, man.
Yeah,
So,
and he's done a great job up to this point and whatnot, but
oh, no.
has certainly struggled this year. Like I said, 26% of the time too of finishing 29th or worse. That is crazy.
Nah. Anyways, all right. So, yeah, at the end of the day, man, like I was sitting there saying, Kyle Busch, bad run, really good guy, good respect for him. Just like I said, he's got to get it together.
Yep.
Otherwise, he's going to miss this bubble, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Moving on to bigger and better things, man. Checkered flag for charity. My man Chase Elliott wins again in the 9th. There's $9, going in. So, always never good enough.
Oh, that's
You know how they do it up here. Always throwing 20s in there, man. I think this year, that totals out to be $905, man. Like we say all the time, come by coaches, drop in for this charity, good local charity, man. If your favorite car, we don't care if your favorite car number is the 25 cent, man. Drop that thing in this bucket. Let's raise some money for a good local charity, man, and keep doing some good out here. So, speaking of charity, we got a new little gig coming up. We're getting ready to raffle off a pretty legit Bud Light cooler, which is coming up. So what we're doing basically is going to have a case of Bud Light, 2 jars of some Junior Johnson Shine, all for the Ronald McDonald House, as well as another little lucrative prize in there. Tickets are going to be $5 each, 3 for 10. Come up by coaches, get them going on. Also going to have Leonard Skinner tribute band tickets. There's the cooler. Thank you, ma'am. Very great. So like I said, definitely come by, check it out, raffle it up for this cooler, man. It's all for a good cause, all for a good team, man. Come up and show your love. All right, so here's one I didn't even see on here, but this is pretty good. Come on, dude. Guy stole a hauler and an F-350 from Mike Harmon Racing, man. They had their We Stand for the National Anthem Xfinity car, pit boxes, and all the tools in it worth about $400,000, man. Crackle Barrel in Kingsland, Georgia.
man,
close to home.
Yeah,
Not far at all.
right down the road.
Wow, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's insane.
I hope you don't take that as that's how everybody rolls around here, man. But yeah, that's pretty wild. Sorry it hit so close to our house, man. Hopefully somebody finds that thing and doesn't even want the reward, man. How about that? Cheers to Ryan Newman, man, on an emotional return to Daytona, PJ. What do you think about that, man?
Oh, that was awesome. That was awesome. Also, him being able to come in and right before the race on the radio and got to the control tower and to all the people, all the first responders that were there at the track, and radioed into them and talked to them about just thanking them for everything they did to get him out of the car, get him to safety
Right.
After that big wreck, after the Daytona 500. And it's odd to see the big man so emotional. Apparently, he asked to be able to do that, asked NASCAR specifically to be able to do that. They couldn't do it in person, so they did it over the radio and did it before the race. And, just great to have him back in full strength, and obviously great for him to have that moment to be able to talk to them directly.
Yeah, I mean, God bless Ryan Newman on that, man, for real. I mean, that was a very, very vicious hit at Daytona this year. Everybody that was watching that, or I'm sure it went viral around the world pretty quick, man. So, very, very intense wreck. And to see him come out on the other side as minimally scathed as he did. I mean, there was still some severe injury, very scary injury. But, I mean, at the end of the day, for it to get hit like that, the way it got hit, and end up right there, and him, come back right here at the same time after the pandemic with everybody else and get back in that race car and come out no fear. I mean, big kudos to him, man, and to all the emergency workers there for NASCAR. I mean, again, if you saw that, the way the car was laying, the fuel pouring out of the car, I mean, I thought it was getting ready to be a lot worse than what it turned out to be.
Well, kind of as a NASCAR fan, going into it, if you've watched NASCAR or any kind of racing for a long time, you know what can happen.
Right.
You've seen it, or you've seen highlights of it, or something like that. So, I haven't seen a wreck in a long time that has made me question if the driver was okay or not.
Oh,
Just because the cars are so safe now.
Right.
You have the safer barrier going all around the track and everything. But I just being honest, after seeing that wreck and seeing everything that happened and seeing the car just laying there, it was hard not to think the worst.
Right.
I mean, you hoped not, but it was hard to, what did I just see, and to see him walk out of the hospital 2 days later and
with his
get
kids,
back in the race
it's
car
like, man, what a
and
great
come back
moment.
with the kind of aggressiveness that we've always known from Ryan Newman.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that's just impressive.
Yeah, I mean, I think sometimes as race fans we take for granted, what these guys are actually going out there and doing.
Yeah.
I think we're sitting there and we're like, oh, it's a race and they're professionals. And we're like, oh man, this is awesome. Look at this, 3 wide, 4 wide, what a pass, so fast. We're forgetting they're going, 200 miles an hour, 190 miles an hour, and they're racing within, I mean, hairs of each other, pushing each other, diving it off in there too hard sometimes, washing up. I mean, the things they're able to do, and this stuff like this not happen more often is amazing. It speaks kudos for NASCAR and the safety that they've implemented over the years for this. So I think it goes in both, hand in hand. I mean, you're very thankful for him. Just for the simple fact you're able to walk away and continue your life with your family. I mean, because as you said, when I saw it, I said, "Oh man!" I said, that he could be hurt really bad. I mean, he could be dead. That was the first thing, man. So glad to see that he wasn't, man. So cheers to Ryan, man. So our side bet, number of laps ran until the car headed to the garage, man. This is last week on here. We did this, man. It was 47 laps. Brendan Gott had some transmission trouble and had to exit the race, man. So LB had first lap. Damon had lap 10. Coach Carl had 26. Myself had 27. Dan had 28. So that's another $25 we all donate into the Ronald McDonald House.
You in there, huh?
Huh?
Oh
yeah, they did. They snuck me in slick on that one, man.
No, for sure. But
they did.
You said LB had lap 1. I don't blame him one bit.
No,
after
man.
Watching some of the races.
No, I mean, especially after Saturday, you saw that and you went, all right, well, this is definitely, this could be turn one,
For sure.
So looking forward to doubleheader at Dover this weekend, man. Monster Mile, trucks running Friday, Xfinity Saturday, Sunday. No qualifying, race 1. Same thing we've been doing all year, man.
Yeah.
At 50% finishing position from the last race, 35 in owners, 15 from fastest lap time, man. Sunday we're going to invert.
Yeah.
We're going to do the invert.
That's a very good way of doing that as
well.
Me
too.
Not being able to have qualifying, and it took them a little bit to figure out the formula and whatnot and implement it.
Yeah, I like
think that's probably the best way you can do it.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, that's a great job. It's not all on that last race, but the majority is, I think, as it should be. Because of all that, Chase Elliott going to be starting on the pole.
Yeah, man, and going to a place where he runs really good at. So
he's dang good for sure.
Good, and like we say, it's a very streaky sport, man. Once you're hot, you're on it. So it's a pair of 311 lap races, man. So my breakdown for Dover this week, race 1, I got to say, man, I just got to give it out there. Big win for Chase Elliott last week, man. I mean, a great run for him. If I got to take somebody here at Dover, man, I'm just going to have to take the 11. 11's going to probably have this one wrapped up. It hurts my heart to say it. Runs pretty good there. It's going to have a good run, man. Number 2 for me is going to be the 9. 3 for me is Kevin Harvick. Won this race a couple times in the past few years. Very good at Dover again. Very good all season long. Martin Truex Jr. Got to have him in there at Dover. I think that's where he got his first win at was Dover. I think for Michael Waltrip Racing.
The one car is DEI.
DEI. Yeah, then Michael Waltrip. I know he got a win there as well.
Yep.
So yeah, man. I mean, there again, some driver history with the track. 5th guy for me that I'm looking at. I mean, you got to put the 2 of Brad Keselowski. Those are the hot guys right now in the sport, man. A dark horse for me, somebody to look at that I think is really going to have a really good run at Dover, would probably be the 20 car of Eric Jones. That's who I got in race 1. I think that he's run good at Dover before. he needs some good luck. He's had some bad luck. It's about time for it to start rolling over, man.
Yeah.
So, what you got on yours, PJ?
Well, it's funny. You start thinking of the 5 guys to pick, all right, this guy. All right, I think I'm solid. Then you started going off yours, and I'm like, man, I didn't have that guy in there. I
Right.
didn't have that. Man, those are some good drivers. So I'll tell you, I think I'm going to go with Chase Elliott, number 1. I think he'll go out there and win, like you said, starting from the pole, has really good history at
Yeah.
Dover. And Chase Elliott is a guy that we've seen it over the past 2 years, I think. Late in the year, he comes on strong. He starts running really well.
Yeah.
And especially after he finishes off a win. Once he gets a win or 2, he starts rattling
Yeah,
those
starts
wins
getting it
off,
rolling.
and those top 5s and those top 10s. So he went through a little bit of a lull here lately, but he got back on track with that win. I think he goes 2 in a row and wins there on Saturday. The other 4 drivers to watch for me, I know he's had some bad luck as well, but I got to go with Kyle Busch, another guy that's has a really good history, is really great at Dover. Almost won his first race there.
Right.
I was actually at the race in, I think, 2005.
Oh,
where
that's awesome,
He
man.
almost beat Jimmy Johnson, but couldn't get it done there on the last lap. But I think Kyle Busch up there, I think he does really well. Kevin Harvick and Hamlin, of course. It's
Yeah.
hard to not have them in the top 5.
Yeah.
With how well they've been running, and Martin Truex Jr. as well. Just really solid on these short track races on Dover as well. So MTJ there too. As my dark horse, I'm going to go with Daniel Hemrick. Running that 8 car, he went through a patch there in the middle of the season. He was rattling off top 10 after top 10. I think he's had a couple of kind of tough races here in between that, but he's a guy that when I think about Dover, and the grittiness, of course, the monster mile, but the grittiness that you have to win there, at the 1 mile concrete track that it is, everybody washing down, but you have to keep your car safe, you have to keep your car clean. I think Hemrick is a guy that does all those things really well. So as my dark horse, I'll go with number 8 of Daniel Hemrick.
I like it, man. I thought he did pretty decent last year for what it was. I mean, it's very hard to only have that shot and then get kind of put back down. I mean, it's good for him to see at least get up and get another shot at it. So, good for him, man. So, I mean, race number 2 coming up. It's going to be kind of the same players, maybe a little different format. I got Elliott winning race number 2. Kyle Busch coming in second in race number 2. Just because we talked about it earlier, he said multiple times he likes that practice that he has. He needs that practice. Him and the crew chief get that car dialed in, get that thing going right. Make it for what it's worth and get it going. And it kind of showed this season. So if there's some truth behind that, we'll see if and when practice starts coming back. We'll see if he starts kind of getting back on that same role. We know the old Kyle Busch.
For sure.
3 for me, we'll go with Ryan Blaney. Let's put him up there. And then I got Harvick and Hamlin rounding it out. Second dark horse of the pick, I'm going to have to go with our boy William Byron. I really think he, there again, as we talked, has some good runs there. Maybe not has some of the finishes. Comes from a good pedigree at Hendrick with winning at Dover. So expect good equipment, good run from him.
Yeah, for sure. Well, with race number 2, I might be drinking the Kool-Aid a little bit here. I might be buying in a little bit too much. But there's 2 guys that are really good at these double headers and have you look back at Darlington and you look back at Charlotte. A guy, not only Kyle Busch, but also Jimmy Johnson, has been really good in these race 2s. At Charlotte, he finished second, but of course had that penalty, and his car got DQ'd. And then at Darlington, of course, he got into Chris Buescher and wrecked that car while leading. So he's been really good, just hasn't been able to finish those race 2s of the doubleheader. So I think I'm gonna buy in there. He has 11 wins there. It's the last place he's won. Give me Jimmy Johnson there. I'm gonna go with Kyle Busch again. I think, like you said, and like we've been talking about, he's really good at these race 2s of the doubleheader, and he's great at Dover. So give me him there. Also going to go with Martin Truex there again at 3, and Hamlin and Harvick. Dark horse for race 2. You already mentioned him, but Ryan Blaney, I think, going to be really solid there. A guy that any track you go to nowadays, it seems like he's driving really well in the situation late to maybe win it, and then some bad luck happens.
All right, I
think you'll be right there once again.
Yeah, I tell you, when we talk about that earlier, when we're sitting there talking about that racing, man, and we're like, everybody has had some really good runs and then bad luck. One guy for sure that has had some really, really good runs and some bad luck's Ryan Blaney, man. He should be sitting with probably 4 wins right now.
I would think so, yeah.
Right. I mean, from the get-go of the season, Vegas and then on to California and winning stage 1, stage 2, and then Bowman pushing, get a little bit too hard blowing tires, I mean, so many places. Bristol again leading the lap.
Yeah.
Oh, man. He'll get it together and get it going, man. But, hey, you guys come out to Coach's Corner Sunday. Like I said, center of the universe, your place for live local sports stuff, man. You guys come on up, watch this, check this out, man. First beer is going to be on Dan, as always. I'll just speak for him. He's not here to speak for himself, so who better than me? You tell him Dan Foulds sent you up to Coach's Corner, and the first beer is on Dan Foulds, man. So, thank you guys for tuning in. Like I said, you guys go check us out, at Rubbin_Grubbin and our YouTube channel, Rubbin and Grubbin. Man, you guys got to come on up and come check us out, man. It's really cool environment, live action up here all the time, but great time, man. So tonight, Rubbin's racing, Grubbin is tasting. So tonight we got some wings from up here at Coach's. These are going to be Texas Pete and Butter wings. These are my favorite. All right, thank you, man. So PJ, you got to get you one of those, man, for sure.
There you go. We got them both for you there. I do like mine with some ranch, so hold on here.
That's really good. As always.
I'm a drum guy. Let's
go for it, man. Yeah. So like I say, you guys, oh man, they're delicious as always, man. You guys got to come up, get some wings from up here at Coach's, man. Tune in next Wednesday, man. We got a lot to talk about. Doubleheader at Dover on top of whatever new NASCAR news is coming out, man. We're getting really close to that season finale down there in Daytona, and we all know that's going to be a crazy time. So you guys got to check us out. Stay tuned with us. Once again, I want to thank ESPN, Savannah Hilton Head 104.3. Radio audience tuning into their Facebook Live. Hey, guys, really appreciate the support. Want to thank this guy right here, PJ Zucco, for coming out, spending some time here with us at Coach's, man. Really appreciate it. Doesn't have to do it, but he took the time to come down and talk about something he loves, and that's racing, man. Greatly appreciated.
Man, it's a pleasure. Thank you guys for having me. Dan, we miss you. We'll get you back next week. Can't wait for that. But thank you guys for inviting me. Hopefully next time we can be all three here hanging out.
Oh, yeah, man.
But like you said, it's 30 minutes hanging out, drinking, getting some great food and talking about NASCAR. You can't beat it. I'll be here every time.
You can't beat it, man. And like we say, green, white, checkered, every Sunday morning, 9 o'clock, 104.3. Tune in. You'll catch PJ, the host, me and Dan also on there talking about NASCAR upcoming races, man, and always some other fun stuff, man. So if you hadn't heard it, or if you have, make sure you tune back in, man. Also want to thank the other show on Coach's Corner Sports Network, Carl DeMasi Sports Report. Coach Carl's in the house as always with the AD chat gripping. Thank y'all, man, for everything you guys do. So if you're here watching now, live every Saturday morning, tune in, check out Coach Carl's YouTube channel, subscribe to it. Tons of info, man, local sports scene. So the guy knows his stuff. If you want to know what's going on, who's hot, who's not in the Coastal Empire sports region, check out Coach Carl, man. He's the man, man. Also coming on, do their thing up here right after us. So if you're here watching, stay tuned, check them out. More thanks to everybody that watches every Wednesday, man. Big shout out to John and Adele Henderson again up here at Coach's Corner for letting us do this every Wednesday night. Greatly appreciated. Man, you guys make sure you stay safe out there, mask up, and as always, wash your hands.
That's it.
All right.
Yes, sir. Oh, that's awesome.
That was a good one, man. That was a good one. I appreciate you making it up, man, for sure.
No,
I know. Go ahead.
Go for it.